Like I remember skating at USC kind of late 90s and Socrates was there filming. And I didn't know didn't know Gino then really. But I was sitting on one of the ledges, Socrates is sitting next to me and Gino's just kind of skating flat ground. And he literally does a switchback 180 this high over an apple core. And in my head, I'm like, God, that was beautiful. And then Socrates, he just turns to me, he's like, it's incredible, isn't it? Like, I didn't say anything. Like, and he too was having the same experience that I was with the most simple movement, you know what I mean, on a skateboard. So that's his gift.
I love them. They're just so like we don't give a fuck. We're just walking as slow as we want. No matter what size car is coming, we don't give a fuck. I remember Bobby Pulio put me onto this spot when there was only a quarter pipe at the end of the block. I hadn't been here for a long time, came back and all this other stuff was built. So it was a pleasant surprise.
I noticed you've been here a few times.
Mm-hmm. It's just fun. Check it out. It's colorful, quarter pipes, transition. I don't know, it's a dead-end street, so it's quiet. There was an Italian skateboarding magazine. I think it was Skateboarding and Snowboarding. It's called Skate Snowboard. They came out to Long Island from Italy. A friend of ours that lived in Long Island had a really nice mini ramp, so we took them there and we took some photos, and it happened to make it into that magazine. It was, I think, the first photo I had in a magazine, and that was like in '89, I want to say. So that's, now that we're talking about it, that's what it reminds me of. I feel good. I feel good. It's always nice to feel productive on the skateboard, and it's just a part of this thing that we do. And it's nice to be with you. It's nice to be with Cole, and like all of us getting something, and you know, and it worked out. So it's awesome. I get up at I'm out the door by 6:37 to get coffee. That's the first thing. And then either I come here to Brooklyn to get a little exercise, or I could hang around the apartment for an hour or two. I hate this shit. I can't stand this.
It's all right, we'll warm up.
Yeah.
But what were you telling me how...
Yeah, I don't like routine either, because I hate that.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, not having a routine makes you feel unstructured, and sometimes Gino needs to be structured, or, you know, idle time can be the devil's playground. A while back, I was on the tennis court, and next to the tennis court, there's a basketball court, and there was a few guys. One of them was jumping rope, and it looked nice. It looked good. It looked fluid. It looked fun. And I went out and bought a jump rope, and ever since I've been addicted to it. And that was maybe I don't even know now, maybe 7 years ago or something. That alone is an amazing way to start the day, just to get up, bike to the ferry, hop on, come across the water, just do my thing over here for a little bit, and then hop back into the city. It's very convenient.
Staying at Gino's parents' house in Westbury when I was young, that was very funny. I was such a little guy. When I was 17, I was such a little dude. And Gino's mom, before I'd leave the house for us coming to the city to skate, she'd be like, Jason, no, here. Give me donuts and food and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and make sure I ate. And
this is the neighborhood I grew up in. And the neighborhood is called Poets Corner, so this is where the name Poets comes from, because every block is named after a famous poet. Yeah, we used to set up ramps in front of the house or parking blocks, and skate. Did everything in front of the house, skate, play hockey, whatever it was that you were into. It was small, man, a town. We had 4 skaters, that was it. It's pretty cool to think about it. And then we spent many days in front of Jimbo's house with the launch ramp, and
The first time I ever heard of Gino was I was 14, skating for Black Label. John Lucero, the owner of Black Label, showed me this VHS tape with a bunch of Gino footage on it. And that's the first time I ever saw him skating.
And then after that, after you formed your little crew, that's when you started kind of moving around, going to different towns, and then you started meeting other skaters, you know, whether it was from a jam or like a demo that was going on at a skate shop, and then you start to meet people, and then it just starts to spread and spread and spread.
He would send the footage, and it'd be on a VHS tape, so it'd be all like Keith Hufnagel, Keenan, Chris Keefe, like everybody would be on those tapes. And they were great. They were great. Those videos were insane. They were so funny with all the footage, like of them messing around and shit at Gino's house. And
we're at the Roslyn train station in Long Island, New York. Yeah, I used to come here, I think, prior to getting sponsored by Black Label, and then I guess I did some filming here that ended up in some Sponsor Me tapes to John Lucero for Black Label. I don't know, man. Like, I wanted to go to California. Like, it just I was drawn to it. And I was sponsored by a company that was in California. So when the idea came up to come visit, I was like, hell yeah, I want to go out there and visit. Skate those schoolyards with all the banks and the hips and shit. Like, are you kidding me? Of course. That's how I ended up there.
when you're 14, 15 and someone's 18, 19, you know what I mean? Like they're like grown up to you. So I looked up to them, you know, and I thought they were just so cool. You know, one thing in regards to Gino and my friendship with him, if Gino and Keith Hufnagel and Keenan didn't let me in their circle, I don't know if I'd be sitting here. It changed my fucking life. It really did.
I think once 101 came around and I got in that whole mix, then I started to settle in and feel a little more comfortable because I got to know a lot more guys, you know, that were in the same boat and that we were all doing the same thing, skating together, and then you kind of can size people up and yourself compared to, and then it started to feel like it did fit. So, but at first, no, it definitely didn't feel like it fit.
I think the first video part that I was Snuff. That was the thing where I discovered Gino, you know. Ever since then, obviously, everything he's put out or done, I've always just, you know, like most people, it's some of their favorite stuff, skating, you know.
It used to be just kind of go out and skate, and wherever you were at that day, you filmed something, and then after a while, you ended up piling up a bunch of footage. That's how it was for me. And then I can see it being a little more interesting when you start strategically planning spots and taking care of this type of skating and that type of skating and combining them all together and making a really interesting part, you know. It was a nollie heel, come up the curb, I think, or just ride along the sidewalk, nollie heel flip, and then a front nose slide.
Skate park?
Just from skating here and just seeing that little like chute that goes along the wall over there. That little downhill. I mean, you don't really have to push. You could just kind of give it one good push and just ride down. As you can see, it's all downhill, so why not? I don't know. I don't think I've seen a line done here really. So we were trying to film that clip, an ollie frontside 180, switch 5-0 grind. Almost got it. Security came. Ty was persistent with waiting around till security left, which I'm really grateful for because I would have given up and just broken out, went back home. It felt comfortable, so I guess it's one of those tricks I ran more often than other tricks. I don't know, something I was trying often, or nollie 360s became popular with me, or I like doing that trick. Then I decided to, we were skating USC and just tried it and it worked out. But it all stemmed from Bertino, seeing Bertino do it in the World Park. Mouse, yeah, short but sweet, it was nice. Keenan has some great footage.
How come you only had 2 clips? Were you hurt or something? Or just...
See, this is where I don't dive into like,
Yeah.
you know, I have in the past. I talked about it and I got in a fight in LA. I got my jaw broke and I came back to New York to get it fixed. And during that time, I think is when that video came out, Mouse, and I didn't have that much footage. And it was also the switch from 101 to Chocolate. So with all that shit going on, I wasn't skating, of course. And I'd like to blame that. You know, I know how it is to watch video parts or videos and see a couple of clips of someone, and that's perfectly fine with me. That's all you need to really get psyched to go skate, you know? So yeah, I went out to California initially around 93, 4. Like skate, turn pro, put out a couple of video parts and just did the pro thing. And then I moved back to New York, and moving back thought like I didn't know what skating had for me anymore. I didn't know what to expect. But like growing up seeing guys retire in their 20s, you didn't really think there was longevity in skateboarding. So like once you're getting to around 30, you're like, well fuck man, I need to figure out if I'm gonna do something after skating or like what am I? Then Nike jumped on the scene. Nike came into skateboarding. Next thing you know, I'm kind of being talked about with setting off the new SB program with Nike. And that was like a rejuvenation in skateboarding for myself and something to like give me a kick in the ass to continue doing it. So Yeah Right was in the works. So I started skating a lot while I was in Long Island. Me and a friend of mine started trying to get clips and skate, and it was a very organic thing. We would do a lot of night skating.
I knew what he was doing just from keeping in contact with him. I knew he was filming with Bradley. I knew that some of the footage looked like it was filmed on a pogo stick.
I loved how raw it was. Like the spots were just, so many of the spots were so shitty. Just out there, like out in Long Island, like behind an IHOP or some shit. Like it looked like he got sparked in his hometown and with skating spots. Maybe he grew up skating and shit.
It wasn't so much like I was saying before, where it was strategic in the spots and stuff. That was more spontaneous, or just going to spots that we knew we can skate around where we live, New York, Long Island, whatever.
I think the reaction to Gino's Yeah Right part has been happening for years, and that's still happening. He's going so fast, and all this shit's so original, and the spots, and you know, the very beginning, the backside flip up the stairs, and the fucking board flips around, he casually catches it. It's just so the essence of Gino.
And then as the video progresses, like spots that were like, you know, big spots, like he backside flipped that thing at Lockwood, and you know, that everybody was skating at the time. Like that shit's just so gnarly.
What about Gino's part? Come on, you gotta take your hat off to him. Backside 360 Manny down the Rosalind Banks.
Is there like, he's got like 3 bangers there.
Yeah, the 360 Manny, like all that shit. I would watch that part a lot before skating for years.
I always liked that style he had. Roy Jones Jr. with the lean. Gino had that thing. He had that lean, you know? It's that grace. And then you play the fucker in ping pong, he did the same shit to you. You just barely moved. And then, you know, he's good at tennis. He's good at ice hockey.
What did we do this morning? We went to New Jersey to meet up with Brendan and and get on the ice and shoot the puck around, which was pretty amazing. What does it mean to me? I don't know what it means to me, but it just is a special thing in my past, you know. Growing up, hockey was like everything. You know, being young and being very into hockey and playing for a number of years and having a lot of memories of traveling with my family, going all over like New England and the East Coast. And to be young and be into hockey and live in Long Island and have the Islanders winning, it was just like insane. It was amazing. So, you know, lately I've been making an effort to get on the ice and kind of not forget like that it's something that is very enjoyable to me, and it's a feeling that I'm not going to get anywhere else. It's its own feeling.
It's fun as shit.
Feel good?
Yeah. Like a kid in a candy shop. Sure.
Tennis is my favorite sport to play these days because it's a test. It's not, it's really intense, depending on if you're just hitting the ball around, whatever, but like you get into matches and it's like a head game. It's, it's a battle against yourself a lot of times. And tennis is interesting, yeah, to try to control your emotions and not let them dictate the game. And it's like very mental, it's crazy. But yeah, I just enjoy like the feeling of hitting a ball. So yeah, tennis is my favorite sport as of right now. It's been for a long time.
How do you play in the sweatpants and the sweatshirt?
I'm dying right now.
I was like, I know you're Italian.
I'm dying. My connection is my family bought some property and some land down in northern Florida back in like the late 80s. So occasionally we came down to visit and just get away from the winter.
He treats Florida as any 65 to 75-year-old man would treat Florida, They got the weather and the palm trees and hey, the ocean, and some tennis, maybe some shuffleboard.
Growing up as a skateboarder in the 80s and the 90s, when you hit 30, you felt like you were done, you were over. So you better figure out what you're doing next. So anyway, at that time, I was still skating, about in my mid-30s, but I still didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And at the same time, I had this one thing called alcoholism and addiction that was slowly growing and getting worse and worse and worse. My family always had this place down in Florida. It was an easy place to come and hide from everything, not have to worry about anybody seeing me, or I could just do my own thing. And I just didn't have to, I could kind of hide out in Florida, basically.
I was immensely worried about Gino. He was just going in and out of danger zones. He would be okay, and then it would get bad, then he'd be okay, and then he'd get bad.
And I was kind of just lost, man. I didn't know what to do.
You're lucky enough to be good at skateboarding and have people like the way that you look on a skateboard. Then you're lucky enough to go pro. Then you're lucky enough to live in it, and then you're traveling, and then you get a little older and there's that, what does this all mean? What am I really doing?
How do you feel about the way you're living now?
I feel good. I feel like I'm kind of doing everything that I wish I was doing before getting sober. Everything is going well. I don't have much to complain about, but it doesn't bring, like sobriety doesn't bring you true happiness all the time. It doesn't, you're still kind of left with yourself. And, but like I'm trying to find that place, you know what I mean? And it's a lot better than it was 2 years ago, I'll tell you that much. There were dark memories now, but now I'm starting to try and rebuild like a better memory. And, it's time to start stacking better memories. And that might take a while because, I was out there doing my thing for a long time. So I think it'll take a long time to get a lot more better memories that override the negative ones. But I'm still kind of stuck in the negative a bit, rightfully so. It's just a part of how it goes, I guess.
But, for the most part, yes, I'm so glad Gino's doing good now. And this is something he's gonna have to work on for the rest of his life. As a friend that I absolutely love, I hope he has the easiest time with it possible.
I got peace of mind now, which is awesome. And I have a lot more peace of mind now than I did 2 years ago. So,
Feel better?
yeah.
It's a trip. I remember when it first kind of happened, I was like, holy shit, I'm on the same team as Gino. That's, because when I was growing up and young, that was just that was those guys. You know what I mean?
Well, FA came about, ask Jason and Anthony about that.
Gino riding for FA, of course. I said, yeah, of course, let's make that happen.
It was refreshing because skateboarding was getting very robotic and technical and unappealing, to be honest with you. And FA kind of brought back, like, you know, you want to talk about style, it brought back style in skating. And we all know style isn't just like what you do like on a skateboard, it's like how you dress, it's how you present yourself, how you roll, who you are as a person. And then on top of that, you're riding a skateboard, and it seemed like they had a lot of flavor in that whole crew.
I like making this board graphics and stuff. Like, there's me, a fucking 15-year-old kid, sitting in Gino's Geo Tracker with Momos on it. And now I make his fucking graphics. It's crazy shit. You never know what's gonna happen in life. It's very interesting.
You ever heard the term, like, I'd rather watch Gino push?
Of course I have, yeah. And I don't even get it. I don't get it because, I don't know. Maybe I just like, I don't know.
Like his skating and just how he is, and I mean, fucking down to how he dresses, everything. It's like, he's fucking cool, you know? And like, all of that kind of comes out of him. And I think the only thing is people might not know that probably inside he's probably just like, doesn't feel that way at all.
I always felt as though Gino is one of the most looked up to people I'd ever met, who he himself doesn't think very highly of. I always felt that about him, and that must be an interesting conundrum.
But I do know how it feels to see someone out there that does something once in a while and it move you and get you amped to get on your board, or people do that for me too. I mean, I see people, like if I see Dill do a trick, you know, I don't see Dill all the time skating, and if I do see one thing, it's like, God damn, man, like I want to see more. There you go. There you go.
Who are you filming?
I'm filming little Santino.
Stretch it.
Close up.
Stretch it, buddy.
Get a good yawn. There you go. There you go. A little smile. Stretch. And cut.
Oh. He's like you, he doesn't like the camera.
Who is that, Gino?
Who is that? This is Santino. This is Santino Lucero Iannucci. Yeah, day 7, 1 week old this morning. It's been nice. It's beyond words for me to explain. I don't know. It's amazing. We're tired. We're delirious. We're extremely joyful and happy. It's amazing. Just the perspective switch I kind of feel in the last week is big time, you know? So can't imagine what is like ahead and how much that grows. There's a lot that goes on in your mind, you know what I mean? There's a lot that's gone on in my mind that's just like, it's trippy, you know? Sometimes you're like, holy shit, this is now, like, life is different, you know, completely different. And it's welcoming, it's also scary, it's terrifying, it's, you know, because you only know what you've known for the past 48 years or so.
What's up next for Gino?
Anything, everything. The future's unwritten, I don't know.
You feel optimistic about?
Completely, 100%. I feel amazing. I mean, I have an amazing woman in my life. I have this guy, and you know, if it wasn't for these two, I don't know where I'd be right now, you know?
You feel happy?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy. Did that sound lame, being that I'm holding my child right now?
What happened?
No, did it sound lame?
What?
I think I'm happy. Of course I am. The songs, like now all the songs mean something else. You know, you grew up on them and they meant something back then.
I know.
Like a relationship or a, you
All
know.
the love songs.
Yeah, and now it's all about, they're talking about this guy.